So there's been a lot of discussion here locally about how to grade everybody during this time home from school. So we here at TMR, the Math Wizard, called in some of our other local wizards just to consult to see what they think. So I don't know, Gandalf, what do you think about how any kind of message for these students about grading? Gee, Gandalf, I don't know. That sounds a little harsh to say that they're not going to pass. Do you want to rethink that? Are you sure? I mean, really, what do you want to tell these students? I don't know. Sorry, guys. You heard the wizard. He seemed pretty emphatic. We'll continue to talk about it, but I don't know.
Hello, Matthew Mathers. Today we're just the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday we were multiplying, which caused us to add some powers. Today we're looking to divide, which is just going to make us subtract some powers. So if I have x to the 10th dividing x to the 6th, I'm going to leave the x still around there, subtract the powers. 10 minus 6 is 4. If I change the order of that, we're still going to subtract 6 minus 10, but if the second number is bigger, we are going to go negative on our powers. You may not have seen that before. Some of you have, some of you haven't. But if we go 6 minus 10, that's going to go negative 4. Negative powers are just fine to have. So if the first one's bigger, we're going to go positive. Second one bigger, we're going to go negative. It's just how it's going to be. If I work in coefficients, yesterday for multiply day, you multiply. Today for divide day, you're just going to divide. 24 dividing 3 is just 8. When we subtract these powers, the x is going to have a 3 on it. For this, if we try to divide 2 dividing 3, that's uncooperative. If that ever happens, just make a fraction. For 2 to divide 3, just write it as 2 on top of 3. I'll get an x. And if I subtract these powers, 7 is too little to subtract 10, so I'm going to go negative 3. As a what if this had been a 5, 5 dividing 3, I would just put 5 over 3. That's improper, we don't care. Improper is okay, we're not going to worry about that. If you insisted on making that 1 2/3, that's not wrong, it's just unnecessary work. Impropers, I have no complaints. For this one, if I put 6 over 10, I would have a small complaint. Okay? If we do 6 over 10, that is not the best answer because we can reduce that by 2's. If you can reduce, you always do. Reducing by 2's would get me 3/5. So the best answer for this would have 3/5, an x, and then we need to remember a thing from yesterday. If we don't see a power, remember there's a 1. 5 minus 1 gets me a 4. Here's another one from yesterday. We don't have the coefficient, the number in front, so that also has a 1. 4 dividing 1 is 4. Leave the x in there, and if we subtract these powers, we would get a negative 4. Let me take a quick peek at this sheet and see something. Yeah, there are some with multiple variables. So if I went back up here and did some y's, 4's and 8's, 4 minus 8, the y's would be negative 4. So there are some that have x's, y's, z's, a blend, but the story still remains the same. If there's coefficients, divide them. If they won't divide nicely, just make a fraction. Improper is fine. But if we can reduce, we do want to reduce. For the powers, look to just subtract the powers for the ones that are the same bases, and that should work. Email me if you have questions.